All right, week 2, same team, different quarterback. Well, different starting quarterback. As Michigan is now ranked number 4 in the AP poll. Wait a minute. I want to take a moment to talk about this. Michigan is now ranked 4 in the AP poll. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Michigan, but if you've hung around long enough, you know my issue with rankings this early in the season. And Michigan only had 2 teams ahead of them lose this week. So I'm not exactly sure why they jumped from 8 to number 4 after playing an opponent like Colorado State at home. I mean, with the way that these rankings work, I can guarantee that Michigan is going to fall out of the top 4 in one of these coming weeks when they don't even lose a game, because that's how weird these rankings are. So they're at number 4 this week. We'll see how long it lasts. I think it's a little early to be saying that, but everything works itself out throughout the entirety of the season. If you haven't heard me say it before, I think that all teams should have 3 out-of-conference games at the beginning of the season before conference play starts. And then after those 3 games, they can do their rankings based off of actual games. Because right now, they're just making this crap up. But of course, in college football, if something makes too much sense, then they want nothing to do with it. So number 4 ranked Michigan is having another home game, this time at night against Hawaii. While Hawaii is known for being a warm place full of sunshine, their team is far from the warm and fuzzy feelings because they are currently on a 2-game losing streak after playing Vanderbilt and Western Kentucky. And in those 2 games, they have only scored 10 and 17 points. So now the Rainbow Warriors schedule ramps up as they go on the road to the Big House against what is easily the best defense they have faced against this year so far. So I'm not seeing anything getting better for them anytime soon. This is a Hawaii team that doesn't really do anything to help themselves. This team has 3 fumbles and 5 interceptions in 2 games. 2 games. So I don't think anything's going to get better for them with this trip into Ann Arbor. With the way that Michigan defense kicked off week 1, I imagine that turnover number is just going to increase for Hawaii, like by a lot. The Rainbow Warrior offense certainly is pass heavy, but ironically enough, they have 0 touchdowns to show for it. Their 3 touchdowns so far have come with the running game. It's actually really difficult to try and find a bright spot for this team because their defense hasn't really done much more either. In fact, their defense has probably done less than their offense because the average amount of points their defense is allowing through 2 games is 56 points. Oh, did I mention? Michigan is an early 51-point favorite in this game. Yeah. So on that note, let's switch to Michigan. Even though the Michigan defense was clicking on all cylinders in week 1, I only imagine that it's going to get better here in week 2, considering the opponent. Also, the offense is going to be led by J.J. McCarthy, which I believe he is going to ball out that night. With it being another easier home game, you can definitely count on both quarterbacks getting playing time this week. So it will be interesting to see if McNamara steps things up. I believe it will actually be a bonus for McNamara to see if he can actually shake off the rust they had in week 1. Honestly, I feel like this is kind of a tough one to predict because I don't really know what is going to do better, the defense or the offense, whether it be the running game or the passing game. It's really hard to tell because there are so many opportunities here. And I don't want to get so high on Michigan, but really, Hawaii has been struggling so much already this year, and Michigan is going to be their toughest opponent yet. I'll get into some more final thoughts here in a few moments when I get to the final prediction. But first, let's talk about Lock of the Week. So let's completely ignore last week and how I epically failed at the Minnesota not covering negative 35.5-point spread because I just took the big L on that one. That being said, this week has some really unique matchups. There are a lot of teams that I'm not feeling very high on yet. And also there are other teams that are coming off of big wins last week that might have a little bit of a downturn this week because of last week's performance. So what I think I'm going to wind up locking in, though, is Wisconsin as 17.5-point favorites at home versus Washington State. We'll see how this turns out this time. Okay, final prediction time. Michigan hosting Hawaii as 51-point favorites. Here we go. While that point spread is huge, it is still reachable for Michigan. So I see the defense just having a heyday this Saturday night, and then the Michigan offense just rolling over the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Again, as I said earlier, it's really tough for me to pick a specific spot that I think is going to shine more than the others. If I had to pick one, I think I'm going to roll with the running game. The offensive line did well last week, and the running backs were able to hit their gaps. I think they're going to do even better this week against the Rainbow Warriors. I predict both McCarthy and McNamara both to have stellar performances this week, which is only going to complicate the quarterback battle and make it more difficult for the coaching staff to make a decision. With that being said, I'm predicting a final score of 59-3. I really want to give the defense the shutout, but let's face it, they're probably going to be putting in a lot of second string and third string players for this game. So I imagine at some point, Hawaii is going to get within field goal range, and they'll probably capitalize on that. So there we go. Another preview episode in the book for Michigan in week 2. It is a little bit of a bummer to have to wait until 8 p.m. for kickoff, but honestly, at this point, I'll take Michigan football whenever I can get it. Thanks for hanging out for this preview episode. We will catch you on the flip side with our reaction video. And as always, go blue.
I'll catch you on the flip side.